come in here. We're going to talk about glyphosate today. What the heck is that? Why do we really care? It's. I hope you guys can hear me. I'm wearing headphones, so I don't have like echoing and stuff. So hopefully you guys can hear me. Um, I never realized how big of a deal it was. I've been eating organic for quite a few years, and um, I guess like I knew that I didn't want pesticides and stuff in my body, but I never realized how big of a deal that glyphosate was until now. So I'm excited to bring Carrie Tidwell on here with me. She's a regenerative detox specialist, and we're going to talk a little more about what it is and why we should care. And I'm going to try to bring her on here right now. Carrie's on here. How do I add her? I did here. I did invite you before we went live, but for some reason my phone never works quite right with this. So let's see. Here we go. Okay. It's Nicole.
All right, we got it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm going to turn my volume up so I can hear better. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, I think there was a button to press that it must have changed or updated since last time we did it.
They always do that.
Mm-hmm.
Take this out. Okay. Yeah, so glyphosate, what is that? Why do we care?
Yeah, I feel like this is a really important topic that I think if more people were aware of this issue, that they would make some significant changes, not only maybe with where they're buying things or purchasing, but you understand about the health risks and what is happening with glyphosate. So first, I like to even share like what is glyphosate. People don't really know what that is, and I've heard like what that ingredient in Roundup, but once I actually knew what it is, it's actually patented as an antibiotic, and it is in a lot of our lawns, our parks, and I'm hearing a little bit of feedback. I don't know from, but all right, here echo.
I was trying to wear my headphones this time, but hold on, let me see if I can.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, it seems like I always.
Yep. So glyphosate is patented as an antibiotic, and it's, like I said, sprayed all over our food and lawns and parks. And it's linked to non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. It's linked to different cancers and different illnesses. And since we started seeing more glyphosate in the environment, it really brought a rise to certain diseases and chronic illnesses. Yeah, I hear you back again. Did you hear it, or are you good?
I can hold my phone too. I don't know if it's the way that it's sitting or what.
Yeah.
Better?
As long as it doesn't bother anybody. If people say they hear feedback, then we can adjust. But it's good. It's not too echoey. So yeah. Anyhow, it's in a lot of moms will feed their kids like certain foods. Like when I had my daughter 15 years ago, I was told to give her Cheerios because it was really easy to like pick up and eat. And what I learned over the last couple of years is Cheerios has one of the highest levels of glyphosate. And I feel like if, oh, good, I'm not echoing on her end. Thanks, Nicole. I'll keep going. So Cheerios has one of the highest levels of glyphosate, and maybe we can post too. I just posted a photo, and the Food Babe has like these photos of like the products that have the highest levels of glyphosate. And I was actually surprised to see some other ones on there. Things that you might think are healthy are actually, it has that. And when we're constantly consuming antibiotics, which are against life, we're really disrupting the gut microbiome. And it's very rare that I meet somebody that has a really healthy GI tract. Most people have some sort of digestion issues or concerns. And I think a lot of it has to do with diet and lifestyle, but also ever since we started introducing glyphosate into the environment. So yeah, that's it in a nutshell. And if you're wanting to like learn more about that, Dr. Zach has lots of resources on YouTube and where he goes into the whole details of it. But glyphosate, if we can just stop purchasing things that have that in it, like Cheerios and different, we can maybe post that photo underneath this video when we're done, just to show the list of all the things. Because when we buy that, we're saying we want more of that. And so one simple thing to do is just be aware of where your food comes from and what's in it and how it's grown. Because glyphosate is also sprayed over a lot of like wheat, and so we're seeing a lot of people having gluten intolerances, and it's really like it's glyphosate as well that's sprayed on that is really affecting people's gut and microbiome and the environment. And then when dogs are walking on the grass that's sprayed, it goes into their system. And so yeah, there's even a petition you can sign to get glyphosate out. I know Mexico is going glyphosate free, so people are starting to wake up to the toxicity and the harmful effects of glyphosate. Yeah, so that, and then there's solutions too of like first not purchasing it and not spraying your lawn with it, and then knowing where your food comes from. So supporting farms locally that use organic or regenerative practices, supporting companies that are doing regenerative practices with the soil, because that's how we're really going to help replenish the earth soil, because a lot of the topsoil is becoming destroyed from the glyphosate sprayed all over and just ruining our topsoil everywhere. And billions of this is being sprayed every year. So it's a really intense epidemic that I feel like needs to be shifted. And if we all come together with this awareness of understanding all of the harmful effects it's having, then we can start to make the conscious, decision to like, yeah, not buy the cheap and the stuff that has glyphosate in it. Just if I think 11% of people bought more organic, bring the for everybody. So just really being mindful of what we're putting in our bodies and our children too, to give them the healthiest start right away. I suffered with a lot of digestive stuff, and I felt like my stomach hurt every time I ate, and I had no idea it was linked to that too, as well as other things. But yeah, so I didn't know if you
So,
had any.
yeah, like I'm just kind of curious, like, what are some of the things that glyphosate does to you? Like, I know it contributes to leaky gut. Like, what are some of the things, like, how does glyphosate affect us?
Yeah, and everyone's different. And if this could be a whole topic in itself of like, so we live in a world that's full of toxins, and this is just one more thing that's layered on. And so yes, it can put holes in the gut lining. um, People can start becoming resistant to different antibiotic use, like because we're just bombarded with it. It's a water soluble toxin, so it's in the air, it's in the water. One of the highest levels of cancer is where all the glyphosate runs off into Mississippi and down south. And so there's what they call the cancer alley of a lot of people getting this from, and it's linking all back. There's lots of lawsuits linking back to glyphosate. I know someone here that's going through that, had cancer from, and they used to, spray this stuff back all the time. Ended up having cancer from it. And so there's lots of lawsuits happening. So it just really disrupts the gut microbiome, kills off all the good bacteria, and we need that healthy bacteria to thrive. And so when we're constantly taking this thing, that the substance of life, and trying to be healthy, it can just really not give us the optimal conditions for our body to heal and repair itself. and 90% of our serotonin is made in our GI tract, and we're seeing of like depression and anxiety. There's so many things that can be linked to. This is just like one of the pieces. So it's always a good idea to eat as healthy as possible, make sure elimination pathways are working properly and digestion is working properly. And if someone is getting symptoms of something, it's not necessarily just the glyphosate thing, but that could be one thing that could be contributing to things, and great to get out to help get that out of the body, which we have and love to share about with a 30-day transformation. There's, all kinds of things that can support the body to release. And one of them being the biotic that's scientifically proven to get 75% of glyphosate out of the body in 6 weeks. And this is really helping people that have the leaky gut or have GI issues, that a lot of people are getting remedy with that, and then changing diet and not bringing in the foods that have glyphosate in, all the high congesting mucus forming foods. Uh, yeah, so that's really important to just reduce our toxic load. It's a big one that's in the environment that we can't really completely avoid, but we can do things to give our body the best chance to like have it go through and not like stick around. And so that's why it's really important to make sure elimination pathways are open and hydrate, cleanse, alkalize. And if you have any symptoms, it could just be, signs of something else deeper going on. So it's always good to look at what symptoms or signals your body is giving you, and look at how to get rid of that.
Right.
Yeah, not blaming it all just on that. That is a huge piece of,
Right.
because since we've seen an increase in using glyphosate, there's an increase in chronic illnesses. And so,
Especially autism. I am like really shocked by that. It used to be, I was trying to find the number, but it used to be 1 in 3,000, right? In 1980. And
mm-hmm,
now it's like 1 in 30.
mm-hmm. Yeah, and Zach Bush does a great job with the statistics, and I don't have those memorized. But yes, you can see
Yeah.
increase in autism and cancers and different autoimmune issues that have all increased from, they introduced it in like the 80s, 1980s is when
Yeah.
it became, yeah. And then you're seeing a lot more illnesses and chronic and weird things popping up that weren't there before the 80s. So 100 years ago, we didn't have a lot of this stuff. And it's not because it wasn't diagnosed, it was just because we didn't have the toxicity load that we have now. And glyphosate is a huge contributor to that. And not only is it hurting our health, it's like ruining the planet. It's disrupting the planet, and that whole ecosystem, and it's being sprayed all over the world. I know Zach Bush talked about high levels of it being used in Wuhan, China, where the whole epidemic, they said, started. And so when you're using all this stuff to kill everything and then expecting things we're just going against nature. So not really we're just trying to kill it and try to, instead of listen to why are the bugs there? Can we do some natural of that? And same thing with our body. It's not this mentality like take these antibiotics to kill. So I'm not trying to give advice on take antibiotics or not, but to just really take this as a lesson of a warning sign of like, how can we work with the body in a good way? How can we work with the soil in a good way that's in more alignment with nature, and not just trying to overtake it or kill it, or in the name of trying to feed everybody. Because if that was the case, then no one would be hungry right now, and that's not happening.
Right. Yeah, most of what we grow in the US is actually to make plastics, which is really sad. I think only maybe 25% of what we grow here is actually for food. So mostly what we're eating is imported. So that's definitely not the case, especially here in the US, where
Yeah.
we actually use we the US is 4% of the world's population, and we use 20% of the world's glyphosate. So that's
Mm-hmm.
a huge, huge difference.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, the big things is definitely not taking in glyphosate, and
Yeah.
that's through eating, foods wherever you can, wherever possible, and then getting it out, getting that glyphosate out because it can be like a real mucky, sticky thing in your gut. So,
Hmm. Yeah, and it can build up in the bowel wall, so then you're not absorbing your nutrients. And so for people who like have a hard time gaining weight or don't absorb what they're eating, they most likely need to clean the gut lining and clean the glyphosate out because yeah, it's like a sticky, gluey substance that can get stuck in the bowel walls. And that can happen even taking antibiotics too. I took a lot of antibiotics growing up because I was told to drink lots of milk and I congested my body. And so I grew up on taking antibiotics. And so it definitely did a number on my GI tract. And so, yeah, it's a, it's a big thing to look at. And so, yeah, like not buying things that have in it, but also like being aware too of where is the glyphosate and is it being sprayed on the food that you're consuming, and yeah, shop more organically and support regenerative agriculture and look into that because that's going to be the new way of hopefully of farming in the future is my prayer, because it just makes some sense of being more in harmony with nature and feeding the soil, because I've had
yeah.
strawberries, even organic ones, that didn't taste very good. um, and then I've had other ones that were, and like, what's the difference? It goes back to the soil health of like, we're only as healthy as the health of our soil. And if we keep spraying it and killing everything, how do we expect to keep thriving for future generations to come, especially with the chronic illnesses on the rise and all of the problems we're facing with the health crisis.
Yeah, this is glyphosate is a whole loaded subject. Like I was so like I've been wanting to share this for a long time, and I just feel so like like there's so many different ways that it's all related to glyphosate. It's like where do you even start? And it's like it's so deep. It's so like I'm gonna start sharing like little tidbits every here and there because it's really a really deep subject.
Yeah, I saw a photo the other day that had like farming practices, 100 years ago, and like in regular clothes, and now they're like covered, like because it's a toxin. Like you're really
Yeah,
totally covered from head to toe because it's this chemical. Um, and yeah, and it's
and it's not safe.
no, it's not safe. And
It's not.
with all the stuff happening with all the natural disasters, I think that nature is wanting us to just get back to nature in a healthy, symbiotic way, and
Yeah.
back to a homeostasis. So what we're seeing happening, like with the pollution in the water, the ocean, and in the rivers, I feel like is happening within our bodies. So it kind of starts with yourself. So it can be this overwhelming topic, like how do we get them to stop using the glyphosate? But it starts with yourself. It starts, at home, being conscious of what you're bringing in your home, what you're purchasing, and then yeah, clean the waters of your body, clean the fluids of your body, so that way you can, function at your best, show up with your gifts that you came here to do. And so it can be an overwhelming thing, but it always can start with yourself and your family, and then sharing this awareness with people that didn't know they're giving Cheerios or Goldfish that has, the glyphosate in it. I grew up on that stuff. And I also grew up with a lot of stomach issues and a lot of health concerns that I had to seek out natural remedies for. And in that search, learning about all the toxins that are in our environment, and then now having solutions to help people, clean this up, diet, their house, body, is really important. So as
It
overwhelming as
is.
the topic it is, it's starting with yourself and your family the best way.
Yeah. And that's huge. Like, this is the only product that is scientifically proven to get glyphosate out. Because, like, it's one thing to just stop taking it in, but
Yeah.
you have to get it out. Otherwise, it's just gonna stagnate and sit there. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad you brought that point up because I meet so many people that are like, I eat healthy. Like, I don't understand why this is happening. And I meet with so many clients that say that. And one thing they haven't done was like got to the root of like getting the toxins and the waste out, whether it's through the colon or the lymphatic system. And that can be the missing link to like healing naturally or just giving the body the best condition to heal. It's you remove the congestion and the weight, the blockages that have formed. And yeah, you're 100% right. And that's such a big piece to healing. If someone's watching this and wants to get to the root of whatever they have going on, a lot of times is turning off the faucet while we mop the floor. Like, stop bringing in the acid toxins and start bringing in the hydrating things, the herbs that help heal and get this ingestion and these toxins out.
Yes, I 100% agree. It's been monumental for me as well.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you so much for coming on here and sharing all this. It's a huge topic, so thank you for lightening the load a little bit and giving me a little more clarity.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, I'll post that, or I'll send you those photos to post what glyphosate is in, just so people can be aware of that. And then yeah, if you're wanting solutions on how to get this out or what to do, yeah, connect in and we can share the transformation protocols that we work with that really help get it out. Offer a lot of support for just lifestyle shifts and changes.
Yes, thank you. And if you are passionate about this topic too, I would love to chat with you because I'm looking for people to collaborate with and, spread this message and spread the healing of not only the humans of the earth, but the earth. Because
Yeah.
that's kind of where it starts.
Yep. Yep, exactly. So connecting in with more people that are like, what, this is happening and what they're feeding this to my kid at daycare and preschool. Like, I just dropped my son off at preschool and I'm the one that's bringing my own snack. I don't eat what everyone eats, but it takes more money to stand up for what they want just to not fit in. And so yes, it's not comfortable at first, but I'm doing that. But yeah, I'm connecting in with more mamas that are wanting to do this, more people that are passionate about sharing this topic. We need to all come together and spread this message so we can't wait for government to do it. We all just need to come together and start. And so yeah, collaborating is such a huge piece of how we can get to the root of this issue.
And heal the children.
Yeah.
They're our next generation.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Yeah. So
definitely. Thank you so much.
yeah,
So
thanks,
nice to
Jenny.
see you again.
Yeah, you too.
We'll talk soon.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Bye.